What's up, guys? It is time to wrap up the Fantastic Four wave of Marvel Legends with the Build-A-Figure. Of course, there's no packaging for this guy because he comes in various boxes, so we're just going to jump right in. And this is the first BAF that I have reviewed in quite a while, I think. I have not done one, I don't know, maybe since the Kree Century. It's been a while. I just sort of lost track of them. And this one is pretty solid. I do have a few maybe nitpicky things with him just at a base level, but as far as this figure goes, I am really happy with him. And of course that comes with the fact that he comes with a lot of stuff. Build-A-Figures don't normally get a lot of accessories, and for this guy to have more than a few is really nice. So let's take a look at articulation real quick, see how he moves around. You've got a head that can look all the way up. He looks all the way down. You can rotate at the head. The arms go out at the shoulders. My regular arms, the non-powered up arms, were really tight, and they are still tight. They are tight at the joint. I've had to actually heat them up, which is the first that I've had to do that for a Build-A-Figure in a really long time. You've got rotation there. It is soft ratcheted. You've got a bicep swivel. Of course, you've got your double jointed elbows. You've got hinges and rotation at the wrist. We've got an ab crunch. He goes all the way over. He goes back pretty far as well. Waist twist. Legs go out probably further than you need. They kick more than 90 degrees forward. They do kick back just a smidge. You've got a thigh cut, double jointed knees. Of course, you've got your boot cut, shin swivel, and then you've got rockers, and you've got hinges down at those ankles. So he moves pretty well. He's still kind of, beefier than most figures. He's not really small, so he does have a little size to him. And for such a larger than average figure, I'll say, he's not huge. He does move around really well. My only real issue, and it's probably specific to me, I would imagine, is just those stuck shoulder joints. They just had to be heated up. Otherwise, he moves around pretty nicely. Now, as far as the overall look and feel for this guy, I absolutely like just about everything that's going on here. It's a Super Skrull, so there is a pretty standard color palette: purple, black, green head, and I think that they, for the most part, nailed it. There is parts reuse here. We've got like Hyperion-style legs and stuff like that. I believe that's what those are down there, and honestly, they don't do too bad a job here. Normally, I'm not a big fan of that particular body, but it kind of works. He does still kind of have those big, massive feet, but he is a little bulkier. He's a little beefier than your average character, than your average figure, and it definitely comes through here. There isn't a great deal of paint on this guy, though, and that's not necessarily a negative. It's just more of a, here it is. So you've got molded legs, molded boots, molded hands, molded arms. You've got some paint for the tips of the gloves. You've got, the molded chest piece, and there is just a little bit of extra work. Like this piece here is actually separate. It's not part of the chest. It sits over top, and then you've got molded purple there. So he is mostly just molded plastic, but again, that's not really a negative. It's just, those are his colors, so they might as well mold them. The one thing that I do like is the difference in finish. You've got this guy being more matte than the gloss for the crotch and the abs, and for some reason it just works. I'm not really sure it should be that way, but it looks really nice, and it just kind of breaks him up a bit from being really shiny. And he does have, like I said, he does have some size to him. He's certainly not the biggest figure, and he is certainly not the biggest Build-A-Figure, but he definitely has a little bit higher than average height and bulk as well. The face, though, is really where they kind of bring it all home, and it definitely is the showstopper when it comes to this figure, I think, just because of the fact that it is so well done. The sculpt on this is tremendous. Everything is exactly how it should be. Nice wrinkles all over the face. You've got the lines that run down the chin. He's got a nice furrowed brow. He very much looks like he is not a happy camper, which I would imagine fits the bill for this guy. The big pointy Skrull ears, and then you've got kind of the skull cap that comes over with those bright yellow eyes, and then there is a little bit of a wash on the face just to bring out the sculpt a little bit. It's not too heavy-handed, but it is there in a very small amount. So it's just a solid looking head sculpt that kind of sits atop a pretty solid body. Now, as far as accessories goes, that is absolutely where this figure shines. While he does not have the bulk and the size that almost all Build-A-Figures have, he makes up for it in many respects by the amount of stuff that he comes with. So you've got a swappable head to start with. So this Build-A-Figure has a secondary head, which again is kind of uncommon. So you've got a smiling head here. It's not too different from the standard. He just happens to have an open smiling mouth, which has the exact same kind of sculpt, quality, paint, wash, the whole deal. It's just a little bit different. The big thing, though, is the fact that this is the Super Skrull. So he's got the powers of the Fantastic Four. And they did a pretty good job of representing them here. I think the argument could obviously be made that I would love to have had 4 arms that could give me each different version of the power sets. But but at the same time, I like the idea of them being married together. So you've got, just interesting combos here. So you have got a swappable right arm, which has the Mr. Fantastic power set coupled with the Invisible Woman. So you've got an elongated arm. It's not stretchy or bendy or anything. It's very hard plastic. And you've got it being translucent at the fist and the arm, and then the bicep, with the bicep having a little bit of paint on it to make a transition to the shoulder. Articulation is just as good as any other arm. It just is different. And then you've got a rocky, craggy arm over here on the left to represent the Thing. And it's got a different shoulder sculpt, so this isn't the same shoulder piece as the regular arm, and then it transitions down into actual rocks with some paint to make the transition from the shoulder. And then for Human Torch, you've got a clip-on piece that you can pop on over top to give the fist a flame effect, which I just, in general, really like. Again, the argument could be made that they could have gone 2 different ways on this, give you multiple arms. I'm not sure they would ever actually do that, but for my money, I'm happy with this. I like the idea that you can have one in, one out, one regular arm, one changed arm, have them both on, do whatever you want, and you've got what I think are really cool combinations to represent the power sets. And again, it's just nice to be able to get accessories for a Build-A-Figure, although of course this guy would not be nearly as cool if he didn't come with them. Now this is definitely something that I haven't done in a while, so here is a shot of the entirety of the Fantastic Four wave, and we're going to do a quick rundown before I get to my final thoughts on Super Skrull here, in terms of what my favorite figures are in this wave, just to give you an idea of where I stand on this. So I think I kind of nailed it when I did the review for this figure, but She-Hulk is by and large my favorite figure in this wave. She was a huge surprise. She's a lot of fun. She looks fantastic. She may not be the classic one that I would love to have, but I can't deny the fact that I just love everything about this figure. I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. No questions about it. I won't even argue the point. I think it's a great figure. Second would be the Super Skrull, just because, well, I really like this figure. I think it has a great shelf presence with the crazy arms you can do. Despite the fact that it's maybe a non-traditional Build-A-Figure, that doesn't bother me too much at that level. I think that he just looks fantastic, he moves well, and I love the idea of the swappable arms, the swappable head, the idea that you can just play with this guy and make him look really different just by popping an arm out. Third would be Dr. Doom, and that may come as a surprise to some. I know he was the favorite of the wave for a long time, but frankly, the cape really let me down to the point where I'm not even using it right now. It just bugs me, and I just like these two a little bit better. Dr. Doom is now wearing the M'Baku cowl piece, the fur piece that sat over top of him, courtesy of Jay Hernandez and that great idea. So we've got that on there, and I think it elevates the figure quite a bit until I get maybe a soft goods cape. And then from there, frankly, you could just throw the rest of the Fantastic Four in, because I like them all. They don't have any real issues. They may not be necessities as far as my complete collection needs, but they all look good. I like the idea of getting the new variants for power usage, so the weird fingers for Reed, and I love the shield for Sue. I like the idea of getting Johnny in a suit finally, and then Thing is just different enough, and if you don't have that one, you've already got a great way to get one. So this is frankly a very, very solid wave in many respects. I think that the Fantastic Four in general, it's nice to have them in their own wave, get them one and done, so to speak, and then you get 2 really solid figures in Doom and She-Hulk, and a really, really great Build-A-Figure that I think will surprise some folks in terms of how much fun he really is to play around with. So overall, at a base level, I really like the Super Skrull. I do, however, have one really nitpicky thing when it comes to this particular release. It's not necessarily a problem with the figure itself, it's the fact of what he is. I don't, at the end of the day, think he should have been a Build-A-Figure, because based on how they gave him to us with regular arms and standard head sculpts with 2 head sculpts, he could be an army builder. He could be a regular Skrull on your shelf. And I would love to have 1 or 2 more of these to just have standard Skrulls. But at this point, I really can't. I'm not going to go buy a wave and resell the figures. And I'm not going to buy a Skrull on its own. $60, $70 for a Skrull, probably. I don't want to do that. So that definitely is a bummer. But taken at face value, the figure itself is fantastic. I think they did a great job. And like I said in my top 10 Legends video from 2019, I wasn't really fond of a lot of those Build-A-Figures last year. And if I had thrown him in the mix, I probably would have put Super Skrull at number 1, because he is a great figure. He moves really well, he looks great, and those arms, the extra heads, everything about him just works. My only true big gripe is that, frankly, I wish he wasn't a Build-A-Figure. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Super Skrull BAF and Fantastic Four Wave. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.